Hello and a warm welcome to Goal Line Gossip. This is the much dejected Jishmaester representing Arsenal today. We have Saul here with us, who is a supporter of Manchester United, and we have the Bong Scouser, who's a lifelong Liverpool fan. We're going to be talking about a bunch of topics today. We're going to be discussing Manchester City. We're going to be discussing Newcastle United and how they crumbled against Aston Villa. We're going to be discussing us, Arsenal, how we threw away another 2-goal lead, and we're going to be talking about Spurs and Chelsea as well. And yeah, at the end, we're probably going to be talking about Manchester United as well. Let's get going. We're probably going to be starting off with Manchester City right now. The first topic at hand is something that is phenomenal. Erling Haaland equaling Mo Salah's record. It's something that I'm sure Bong Scouser is not happy to see. But what do you think about it? What is your take on the matter, Bong Scouser?
Yeah, so Salah's record was always going to be in probably the 20th game of the season, right? So where Haaland stood at around 26 goals. So the record was definitely going to be broken. But let me say this: I mean, I've never seen a player like him in the Premier League. He's an absolute machine, and the team that he is part of, they are also a machine as well. I mean, what a team and what a player! They have got the perfect player to play in that team, and I think he's just on the end of everything. There are so many chances created by City, and he's always on the end of those chances. And he's definitely going to get 40 goals this season. And having said that, I think that record won't be broken in some time now. I mean, this record is going to stay, and if Erling Haaland plays the next 5 years, it's probably him who's going to break his record every season.
Yeah, I guess you're right, absolutely. But I just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention. Do you guys recall any other player being so phenomenal at the age of 21, 22 since R9? Because R9 at the age of 20, 21 was already ripping apart teams. But other than him, I don't remember anybody else. Not Cristiano Ronaldo, not Lionel Messi at this age. He's already got 47 goals this season in all competitions, and that is crazy. But by even his standards, or and he's doing it in the toughest league in the world, right? R9, Ronaldo did it in the Serie A. I mean, I guess Serie A was probably the best league at that point in time in European football, but even then, he's probably going to beat R9's records as well. So, yeah, Saul, what do you think? Is this guy, is he peaking right now, or do you think he's only going to get better?
Well, like you said, he's just like 21, right? So he's definitely going to get better. I think for me, what surprised me the most, because I thought that, the moment City signed him, that he's going to explode in the Premier League. I knew that. I know you said that, maybe it's going to take him some time, but what surprises me the most is he's done it in the first season. And this has been the season where, there were times where the City were not in their, fourth or fifth gear. They were not winning all the matches. They were dropping points, but he's still been scoring, and he scores more than one goal, more than 2 goals, like, in those matches
Many
where,
times, yeah.
and he has that
insane.
XG, which is just specifically for him, for his performance in a single game, right? And I think, I mean, we can all agree that City is one of those teams that can facilitate, a world-class striker like Haaland, give him the service, and with, whether it's Jack Grealish in brilliant form, or whether it's Kevin De Bruyne, who's always been, the star player of Manchester City. But in terms of his positioning, I think it's excellent, and he doesn't miss much, which is I think one of the reasons why he's been scoring so many goals. So yeah, I mean, I always predicted that, if he comes to Manchester City, he's going to blow the Premier League up, and he's done that in the first season. I'm surprised, and like the Bong Scouser said, the only guy trying to challenge his records will be him, in the next seasons, because I don't see anybody else getting these insane numbers like 40 goals in a season. That only happens.
47.
You know
47.
what? You know
There you
what
go.
Callum Wilson said in his interview recently. He said that when Erling Haaland is playing in the Premier League, there should be another silver boot. Forget about the golden boot when he's there.
That's true. That's true. I mean, that when you look at it, Harry Kane has probably scored 20 plus goals this season again.
No one's
Not
talking about it. No
exactly.
one's
Nobody.
talking about Harry Kane.
Exactly. Exactly. No, you're completely right. I also, thought about this that um, the way Erling Haaland is playing, you could probably have a Ballon d'Or conversation about him. I mean, I am thinking that they're probably going to go to the finals. There's a decent chance. Well, you know what? They probably have to play Real Madrid in the semis, right? So it might happen, it might not happen, but he's definitely going to be in contention for the Ballon d'Or, right? I mean, would you say he's the best player in the world right now, or would you take Kylian Mbappe's name?
See, I think best player in the world is debatable, definitely, because as if I talk about other aspects of his game, uh, you know, they need improvement, definitely. But when it comes to his finishing, uh, that is second to none. I mean, he is undoubtedly the best finisher in the world, and probably the best I've ever seen, to be honest.
Right. No, no, you're right on there. But in terms of a Ballon d'Or conversation, he is a forward. You don't talk about Baresi and Maldini and Nestas and talk about their goal scoring prowess, right? They were defenders, so they were center backs. I mean, similarly, when you're talking about a forward, a striker, you measure that player by the number of goals they score, the number of chances they create for their fellow forwards and attackers. So Erling Haaland as a striker, and Kylian Mbappe is also forward. I get it, but in terms of goals and assists accumulated, I think he's still got more than anybody in the world. So
Absolutely. No,
don't you
no, no.
think
I think this season Lionel Messi has got the most goals and
has he
assists.
goals and assists
Yes, yes,
combined?
he has. Although he's playing in a less competitive league,
I'm
but
gonna just check
Lionel Messi has.
while you do this
Yeah, yeah,
understanding.
yeah, yeah. Lionel Messi has the most goal contributions this season. I think he's on top, and I think Kylian Mbappe is probably second. But having said that, yeah, if say I think PSG is nowhere near being the Champions League.
No, no.
Champions League.
Uh,
Erling Haaland, if City win the title or they are playing in the finals, he's got a decent chance of winning the Ballon d'Or this season.
And I think that's the point, right? So it's not just about how many goals Haaland can score. City need to win trophies as well, right? And I think that's going
Mm.
to probably decide at the end of the day whether he's going to get
That's
shortlisted or
that's true.
maybe if he's going to win the Ballon d'Or. Because in the other leagues, where you have the Mbappes, the Messis, and the Benzemas of the world, I think at the end of the day they win a lot of trophies as well, or they represent
Yes.
their team internationally, which Haaland can't. So I think, yeah, City better win some trophies in order to get him there.
Yeah, that is true. And if Haaland doesn't win it, it's probably the default setting, Lionel Messi.
well, it's actually, you know what, Erling Haaland is more. I just checked. It's not Messi anymore. Probably it was maybe a month and a half back or something, but PSG season kind of tailed off in the past four
Are you
weeks or
sure?
so. Yeah, I just checked. Yeah, I'm giving you the most recent update. He's clear about 8 to 9 goals and assists, in terms of the total goals and assists in top 5 leagues are concerned in all competitions. But that aside, I did want to touch upon Manchester City and their depth, because if you guys watched the game yesterday, there was a moment after the 60th minute where they kind of changed most of their players. They had about 5 substitutions, and they brought in the likes of Carlton Palmer, young academy kids and all. And don't get me wrong, their first team with Ruben Diaz and John Stones and Laporte, 2 out of those 3 playing, is a different machine altogether. We didn't see that team in the beginning of the season, and that's why I believe, as an Arsenal fan, that they dropped a lot of points, because they did not play Ruben Diaz, and they were testing out different formations and, well, no, different combinations of their teams. Um, However, since They've brought in their first 11 playing. The first 14, 15 players, they have been unstoppable, as we have seen in the Champions League, in the FA Cup, in the Premier League. However, there was a moment yesterday when Leicester City could have come back and drawn the game, because Madison, who was by far the best player on the pitch for Leicester, he missed a chance that you would expect him to bury. Um, he, he he took the shot which was straight at Ederson, and he he takes it either way of Ederson, he scores 100%. And there was a very controversial penalty call as well at the very end. It could very well have been, even though it was a much maligned Leicester City, fighting for their lives in the Premier League, fighting for the status in the Premier League. They could have, drawn the match, only because, not because, Manchester City, was a poor team or anything, just because, they literally, had half of their team off the pitch, so that they can be well rested for the midweek game at the Allianz Arena against Bayern Munich. Now, I want to talk to you about Manchester City's depth, and how I think it's a myth. In my opinion, it's a myth, because if you look at Manchester United, they're missing more than 5 or 6 key players. I mean, they're missing Marcel Sabitzer, they're missing Marcus Rashford, they're missing Luke Shaw, they're missing Rafael Varane, they're missing Lisandro Martinez, they're missing Garnacho, who's also a pretty important player for them. And there's probably a couple more. Malacia is missing as well. And they still fielded a first 11 that can definitely play in the Premier League. They did not, field, under 20, under 21 youth players. It did not. So Manchester City having, an exceptionally strong, deep squad, I believe is a myth. What do you think about it, Saul? I want to ask you this question.
I think it's not about the depth; it's more about the style of playing. Because I think when Pep made those changes in the last game, you can see them falling off the way they were playing. Like Leicester came back to the game, right, and that's just because of the quality of plays that the first team was performing on the pitch was way different than the new players when they came in. Uh, I understand why he has to throw in the youngsters, or team B or team C into the mix, because he's there in the Champions League. At the FA Cup game is also there on the weekend. But at the same time, like I think it's not about the depth; it's about how Pep plays. It's all about consistency, and not every player can understand or have the ability to abide by that style of play, and that's going to be City's challenge. How much of those players are going to get shuffled, and who can actually you know uh, like play in that style, or even like just fend off. So if you're winning 2-0, can you see off a game for the last 40 minutes? Do those players have that quality? And I think they do. But the problem is, transitioning from an elite level of playing in Pep style to going into parking the bus, that transition is not easy. And that's where, you give the opponent an opportunity to come back in the game, and that certainly happened in Leicester. They didn't take their chances, but I think that's going to happen more often to them. But at the end of the day, the pressure is on. So he's at some point, Guardiola has to decide, which match he's going to prioritize. Because I know that they have a 3 goal lead against Bayern, but then again, you have to play 2 matches against Real Madrid, which is very,
Well,
very difficult.
and don't count out Bayern Munich. They're going,
Of course.
they're going to be going to their home now. So we have seen crazier days in the Champions League for sure. But I'm going to take the same question now to the Bong Scouser. I really didn't quite get the answer to what I was looking for. I'm trying to understand. Do you guys really feel like Manchester City is deep in terms of the squad, just because they lost Raheem Sterling, they lost Gabriel Jesus, they lost Alexander Zinchenko earlier this season? And it seemed like to me yesterday that they do not have a deep squad. I definitely think Manchester United has a deeper squad than them. And I'm not speaking about the first 11 or the first 13 or first 14's quality. That's not what I'm saying. I'm speaking about a squad that is 18 to 20 players. I think Arsenal has a deeper squad than Manchester City, what I saw yesterday, because we have about 17, 18 players that are not under 20s, or even though we are young players anyway. But
But it's not just about the depth of the squad; it's also
it's
about
not.
the quality of
No,
quality of
no,
the
no,
players, right?
absolutely. I'm not questioning that. There's no question. I already at the precursor of bringing this topic about. I already mentioned that they have a phenomenal, crazy first 15, 16 players for sure. First, I would say about 15 players, because on top of the 11, they probably have Riyad Mahrez. Um, who else in the midfield do they have? Like after their first 11, Calvin Phillips. You can definitely say bring
Right.
his name. Yeah, but I mean, other than that, but you could see yesterday after they took off 5 players, they didn't have much depth. So, Bong
No,
Scouser, what do you think about it?
let's not forget. See the City players that like Bernardo Silva, Nathan Ake. Uh, so these guys, Phil Foden's not playing much, but these guys, they are multifunctional. They can
Mhm.
play in many positions. So City have got enough depth. I would say, okay, so Pep actually took the risk of selling, or rather sending out Cancelo on loan, right?
Oh
Because
yeah,
he knew what he was doing, and
mhm.
they have transformed their system, where now they are playing, I think, 4 center backs in a game. Okay, and see how they are playing. They are
True.
playing like a well-oiled machine, and you could see that John Stones is playing in midfield. Nathan Ake, who was playing left back, is now playing centre back. Uh, Bernardo Silva, who was playing in midfield in all these games, he got pushed out to the right flank in the Champions League, and he scored. So it's not about the position really. I mean, all the players, like Saul said, they're very well versed tactically. They know the system very well, and I'm sure
Mhm.
if someone is injured, there is always someone who can play out of the position and still play well enough to
True.
to guarantee a position in that City team, and to make it you know as good a team as it was previously.
Right. No, no, that's a perfect take on the whole matter. Now, I kind of get where you guys both are coming from. Now, this is a transition where we're gonna move on to the next topic about whether Manchester City is back to their very best, because it seems like they are. They're it's like no stopping them. They you can I don't see which team is going to be stopping them. If not Bayern Munich, if not the very best in the Premier League, who
You
else,
should be
right?
saying Arsenal, but okay.
Yeah, well, listen, right now I'm not in the best of states, and I don't feel that confident. I got stage fear right now.
See how things change in just 1 week. That's
No,
the
that's
Premier
true.
League.
That's true. That's true. And we're going to be talking more about Arsenal and what feel went
I
wrong.
said it
But
before last game. Last game I said, right. I said it after in that Liverpool game. Arsenal looked really nervous, and that actually changed the momentum. That one game was just enough, because that created doubts in that squad. Okay, it's a young squad.
right, Bong Scouser,
Okay,
we're
and
going to talk about Arsenal in a different segment. Let's wrap
okay.
up on Manchester City here. Do you see them dropping any points at all? And I can run the fixture by you guys, both Saul and Bong Scouser, and tell me if you guys think they're gonna be dropping any points from here on. Okay. So next up, they're gonna be playing Arsenal at the Etihad. Do you guys see points being dropped at that game?
No, no,
It's
I
talking
don't
about
think
the
so.
Premier League, right?
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
So
think so. I don't think so. No.
okay, okay. And what do you think about the next game after that, right after that is going to
See,
be
I don't need to see the fixture list. It doesn't count for me,
okay.
honestly.
So
I don't see.
you're uber
I don't
confident.
need to see the fixture list. I think if there's one team that can stop Manchester City, that's Real Madrid. So if they are stopped, they are going to be stopped in the Champions League, not in the Premier League. Premier League, they are winning it.
No, no, it's not about winning or losing. I'm right now talking about whether out of the 27 possible points in the next 9 Premier League games, do you see them getting 27 points, all 27 points, confidently?
No, I don't
See,
think so. I mean, it depends on some of the other fixtures, outside the Premier League. So number one is
yeah,
definitely
that's
Champions
true.
League. So if they qualify, there's going to be two Real Madrid matches sandwiched between the Leeds, Everton, or the Chelsea match against City, right? So they might lose some points there. We also have to consider that they are in the FA Cup as well. So if they beat, they're playing against, I think, Sheffield this weekend. So if
Mhm.
they if they win it, and if we win it, Manchester United, then we'll have a final as well. So again, maybe Pep might deprioritize FA Cup altogether and just focus on Champions League and the Premier League. But then again, these are big matches, like right, like Real Madrid and Manchester
Mhm.
United, and they're going to be sandwiched between some of these fixtures,
And
and
there's
that
another
might
game against Brighton that is to be rescheduled.
it's got postponed.
For
Yeah, you're
Yep, yep,
absolutely
yep.
right.
Yeah,
And I sort of feel like the Everton match. At
Goodison,
it's not
Goodison.
yeah at Goodison. That might be one of those matches that is after or in between the two Real Madrid matches, or before the Manchester United match, where he might have to shuffle some players again, and that might be an opportunity for them to drop some points. But
Hmm.
definitely, I think the next Premier League match against Arsenal, that should be the match that is probably going to decide what's going to happen, whether you guys can keep a healthy lead, or whether they're just going to be like on your tail, like trying to grab your throat or something.
Right.
Just
So
to
that,
just to add on to what Saul said, I think a lot depends on Arsenal as well. If Arsenal keep dropping points, I think we'll come to a stage where Manchester City could possibly be ahead of Arsenal by, let's say, 6 to 8 points in the
so
next by in the next 5 to 6 games. They could be ahead 6 to 8 points. So
in
and
order,
and and that
but Bong Scouser, in order for that to happen, because by the time we play next against Manchester City, we are also playing Southampton the next weekend, right? So, and that's at home at the Emirates. I'm not expecting us to lose that game. I know that we've had a couple of draws here, and that's definitely a setback at this point of the season. Getting a point means nothing; it feels like a loss. But I don't see us losing to Southampton. They're bottom place, and at the Emirates, I don't see us losing that game. By the time we're going to be facing Manchester City the week after, we're most likely going to be 7 points ahead. And obviously, if they beat us, it's 4 points. But in order for them to overcome those 4 points and them to be 6 to 8 points ahead, that's a jump of 10 points. You mean to say that we could be potentially losing Manchester City and the following two games as well? That's the only way. Well, following three games. That's the only way. That's 4 games on the trot. You see Arsenal losing in order for them to be 6 to 8 points ahead of us.
no, I mean, see, you are playing Southampton. Okay, Southampton are no pushovers. Okay, they
No.
might be bottom of the league, but they are a relegation threatened team. And
Mhm.
from what Southampton have been in this position, before. Okay, so they are not going to go down without a fight.
Of
I
course
know
not.
Arsenal's
No, I
playing
agree.
at home. I know Arsenal's playing at home, but Arsenal don't look that confident to me. So
Right.
if you were telling me that Arsenal will roll over Southampton, that's not happening.
Right. But what about Manchester City? This segment belongs to Manchester City. You think they're going to get 27 out of 27 points, realistically
Uh
speaking?
They can,
so
and that's scary.
they can.
Of course they can.
Yeah,
Of
they
course
can.
they can.
So I think that's
They are
the
they are in
answer.
the mood.
I mean,
They don't
they
look like
can
dropping points.
Okay.
exactly.
All right. All right. No,
And
that's great,
uh,
guys. Sorry. So go ahead, Bounce Causer. You're saying something.
no, that's okay. So I had the same point. I think Manchester City are in the mood. So the momentum is clearly with them, like I said, and I think Arsenal can't really stop them. I think
Hmm.
City are playing in a league of their own. So it's
Well,
City's title to lose for
well,
me.
the fixtures that are difficult in terms of this potential for dropping points of Manchester City are Arsenal at the Etihad. Don't mock at me, but Chelsea at the Etihad, Brighton and Brentford and Everton away at Goodison, at Brentford's
We are
home.
talking about Manchester City here. We are not talking about Arsenal.
No, I understand. Listen, this right now.
We are not
Listen,
talking about Arsenal. We are talking about Manchester City,
I
who
I
are in
get it.
who are in the best shape that I have ever seen them play.
But out of these 5 games, can you tell me, hand on your heart, you're absolutely certain Manchester City is not dropping any points? Arsenal and Chelsea at home, and Brentford, Brighton, and Everton away. You don't see them dropping any points at all, not
No,
even a single
no,
game.
I don't see them dropping points.
Okay.
Not at this
Well,
stage of the season.
well, then in that case, it's most likely going to be 27 out of 27 points for them. And then there's no way we are catching them. They're probably going to end at 98, 99 points. yeah, we're not definitely stopping them. So yeah, I mean, I think just because we've spoken about Manchester City at length right now, it makes more sense to talk about Arsenal, the team that's challenging them, and it seems like everything is ending for us, and it seems like we're crumbling under pressure. I'm going to take this question to Saul, um, and to give me some comments. I'm having brain farts right now. What do you think? Are we truly crumbling under pressure here?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That penalty missed by Saka, I think that says it all. We saw something similar in the Euros as well, the Euro final, where I think Sancho and Rashford
And
missed as
Rashford,
well.
yeah.
It's kind of like, like what Bong Scouser was saying. It's a young team. They have the heart, but at the end of the day, they don't have the experience, right? And same with their manager as well. And the pressure is on, and the pressure is on because you guys scored like 2 goals within the first 10 minutes, so it should be one of those games where you should just see it off. I mean, it shouldn't come to a point where it's 2-2, right?
Mhm.
I know, some that penalty giveaway by Gabriel. I think that's silly. I mean, I know that he can't do anything, and the striker is probably going to take a shot, but there was no need to commit there. And also from a goalkeeping point of view, last week we were talking about how great Ramsdale is, and he's still great. But that second goal, he should be saving
Yeah,
that, by his
yeah,
standards. So there's always like an expectation mismatch. Players who are supposed to score are missing penalties. Gabriel, who's supposed to be the one of the better defenders of this season,
Shouldn't be conceding
silly
such a penalty.
mistakes, and Ramsdale being Ramsdale, it's not making the save. So just from those three, I would say that Arteta and his men, they are under a lot of pressure, and it's catching like a virus, and it's gonna. What scares me the most when I look at your next games. I know that you're playing Southampton, but then you have City, you have Chelsea, you have Newcastle, you have Brighton. Those 4 games are very big games against really good teams. I mean, forget about Chelsea, but those are 4 big games. And then you have Nottingham Forest, again, a relegation fighting team. They're probably going to put all of it there. Uh, and then you have Wolves as well. So Wolves is a little, although you're playing in
Yeah.
Emirates, but,
Hmm.
they're
I think
winning games.
except for that Wolves game, all the teams that you're playing with have something to play for. That is scary. That is scary
Chelsea
for
has
us.
Chelsea has nothing to play for.
They have to play
They
for
have
pride.
they have
They
to
have to play
play
for
for
pride.
Lampard. They have to play for
Okay,
Lampard and Todd
we're gonna
Bowley.
They
we're gonna
cannot
talk
they
about
cannot
Chelsea in a
afford
bit.
to finish below the top 10. That would be
Exactly.
harassment
Yeah.
for the club and the fans.
Even for someone like Lampard, he's been hired to be a fan favorite and
Listen, hold your
to
thoughts about
do it
Chelsea, guys. Hold
emotionally,
your
right?
thoughts. We're going to be talking about Chelsea
Okay.
in a different segment. So, yeah, speaking about Arsenal, I have a few key takeaways here that I kind of noted, during the game, that I wanted to just talk about a bit. I've noticed in the past couple of games, especially in the Liverpool and Arsenal game, once we go 2-0 up, it's almost like, these kids, most of them are, 21, 22-year olds. They're thinking in their head, we cannot lose this. They're under so much pressure that they're
Yeah.
thinking, we cannot lose this. And I've seen them, typically Arsenal without pressure, they're a flamboyant team that does not,
Exactly.
fear anybody. But what has happened both in the Anfield game and today is after scoring those 2 goals, they became they held on to the ball, longer. Um, they were not really trying those risky passes just in case they get overturned or something. They didn't want to lose possession, but it's the oldest story in the book of football. The only way you can defend is by the best method of defending is by offend in the offense. We are not doing that, and the the second takeaway that I have seen is with Saliba missing and Rob Holding, playing the past three or
Yeah.
four games,
Exactly.
and Zinchenko missing today, and Tierney playing the back four. Even with the Liverpool game, even though Zinchenko played, with Rob Holding right there, Ramsdale and the other players surrounding them, they don't feel sure. They're not playing out the
Exactly.
back as confidently anymore. and it
That's
scares me
correct.
honestly. And because of these two players today, Tierney in the left and Rob Holding in the right hand side of the center back, players like Ben White's getting affected, players like Thomas Partey's getting affected, Xhaka's getting affected, Martinelli's getting affected for the Tierney role, and Ramsdale's getting affected, and Gabriel is getting affected. We're losing that swagger. And there's a statistic that I just went through on Opta. It is that while Saliba was playing, we were conceding at 0.92 goals per match average conceding. Since Holding started, we are conceding at 1.56. So obviously we're conceding more goals. We're not as certain as sure at the back, and we all know, Rob Holding's is not even a has been. I cannot even call him a has been. He has never been, and he needs to be, shipped out. And we just haven't found the right suitor. We're
Yeah,
waiting for
yeah.
the contract to end. And so this is another thing that I've noticed. The last thing, and this is supremely important. If you look at all the games where we have dropped points, and I know you guys may not be as big into fantasy Premier League or something, but if you look at Saka's contribution to the matches, Southampton away, we dropped points. We dropped points at Manchester United away. We dropped points against Newcastle at home. We dropped points against West Ham today. We dropped points against Liverpool away. I think these are and Manchester City at home. If you look at
At home.
all the games, Bukayo Saka has not had a contribution in either in terms of goals or assists. And even today, I'm not sure if you guys watched the match or not. Bukayo Saka typically threatens to go past people when left and right. He
Yeah,
will, he's not doing that for the past three games. Leeds, even though we beat Leeds 4-1, he did not play well. Then Liverpool, three consecutive games, he looks like he's jaded, he's tired, he's the one who looks crumbling under the pressure. And the reason I'm saying this is because without Saka playing well, other opposition teams don't feel scared of us as much because usually Saka's double down, sometimes triple down upon when he's on song. The past three games he's not, and I'm noticing Liverpool and today West Ham did not have two men on him, and that automatically makes the game more difficult for us. So these were the things that I really paid attention to, and I think if this does not get resolved come the Southampton game, and by the time we face Manchester City, if Saliba's not back and Zinchenko's going to be back, we know that. Um, I have a feeling that we're definitely not winning the league, and right now City are the favorites for sure. But if these things kind of get addressed, if Saka gets back on form, if Saliba's back and well rested and playing the game, and Zinchenko's back, at the left back position playing the inverted left back role, I think we could again get back to our bet. But otherwise, these are the things that I
but
kind
the key question here is: do you think it is a
of.
case of performance, or do you think it's the mentality?
I think it's a
What do you
combination
think
of
is
both.
coming in Arsenal?
I think it's a combination of both because listen. Here's the thing: you want to go for a presentation to the best, to the biggest ever meeting to land the biggest ever contract for a project, let's say, right? And you go in with you're already in a lot of pressure. You know that you got to land this project. This is gonna make or break your entire company's lifespan. But then again, you hear that the best performers or some of the key performers in your team who's going to be joining you in that meeting, they're missing. It's going to have an impact, right? You're already under a lot of stress and pressure. Now you're going to feel less confidence, and that is why we are holding onto the ball longer, because we don't have confidence in the Rob Holdings and the Tierneys. i'm
Exactly.
not i'm not saying Tierney's a bad player, but he just doesn't fit the system. He does not. He's getting the ball today. I saw the match. Holding and him, they're getting the ball, they're passing back to Ramsdale. They do not have the ability to have the ball and see which passes on,
No,
because
I would not agree on Tierney, because I think the thing with Tierney is that he has got that ability, but the thing is that he's not played enough. So I think somewhere down the line he feels a bit rusty and not very confident.
uh,
But with Holding, yeah, I can totally understand. From the Liverpool game, I saw the same thing, because he is a no nonsense defender. He cannot. He's not a ball playing defender. He the only thing he can do is he can clear the balls, and he brings a lot of reliability in that defense. But the style that Arsenal are playing in, I think he's not fit to play in that back foot, and he's the one who's creating a lot of problems for sure.
100%.
And also, there's one more thing I find missing in that Arsenal team is a leader. Although Martin Odegaard is a leader, I don't think there's anyone really, to whenever the shoulders are dropping, there's no one, to shout at people and say that okay, we can come back in this game. There's no one really to control that team on the field, and that's another
I
thing
agree with
that I
you.
found it in that Arsenal team.
And
These guys are like too young, and I don't think there's any sort of leadership in that team.
and it's not just about leadership. You mentioned having control, right? One of the players in your team, like Jishmaester, who had a crap game, as Thomas Partey.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, he
he
was
gave
so bad. He has been
balls
bad for the past
away,
4 or 5 games.
and he's always been that that guy, the stonewall midfielder who's been making sure that the enemy team or the rival team, they cannot go forward, and he's also been pivotal into making those plays from the defense to the forward lines, whether it's going to the wings in Saka, or helping Odegaard go forward, or on the left hand side. And I think that's one of the reasons why uh, you know look at the number of interceptions that West Ham had. It's way more than Arsenal, right? And that's
Yes,
one of the reasons, because
Yes, so that's what we
Odegaard
can
needs
talk
to be
about a
the
number
person.
of problems. The problem we
no,
can
I
talk
I
about a
know,
number of problems,
I
but
agree,
I
but
think it's down to
it's a
the
chain
mentality of the
reaction,
team.
guys. No, I mentality. Obviously, that is obviously there. We are under tremendous pressure, and these kids have never been in the situation ever in their lives. However, the chain reaction. Let me just quickly give you an example. Tierney is somebody who's great at bombing forward and putting in crosses. He's phenomenal. He's probably comparable to Robertson in terms of his zipping crosses in. But he's never good at breaking lines and coming into the center and playing that d- uh, you know um, metronomic
Inverted,
central midfielder
yeah,
role that Zinchenko
inverted,
plays.
yeah,
Exactly. And what happens is today Tierney, when he was coming in into that inverted role, Partey was not feeling any confidence. He did not have a Rob Holding to pass to, obviously. So that's two roles beside him. Typically, Xhaka is somebody that is playing the Odegaard role on the other side. He's very high up the pitch. If
but
Zinchenko is
isn't that the fault of the manager? But isn't that the fault of the manager? He should know the player's strengths, right? And he should tweak his system to play
he
it in
should,
the
I
way that
agree.
fits the players at hand.
Listen, coming from a Liverpool fan, I think you know how it feels when your manager does
Yeah,
not like to tweak
of course,
systems. Now,
yeah.
I completely get you. He should be tweaking his system to play to Tierney's strengths and not to his weaknesses.
Look
Because
what Pep's doing. That's why Pep is the best
exactly,
manager in the world.
100%, 100%. The way Pep Guardiola tweaks. Sorry, I was like, I've got something. Got a lisp there.
Pepe,
Um,
Pepe.
yeah, yeah. The way Pep Guardiola, constantly adapts himself. We thought that he was probably going to flunk badly with Erling Haaland. I definitely thought so. If not the others, I thought he was going to flunk. The way he's been playing and adapted to the systems and everything, he is, he's out of the world as a manager. He's
Yeah,
unrivaled. And the day Manchester City loses him, whether to the end of the contract or Pep decides to move on or whatever, they're definitely going to miss on him. But I just want to talk about the next topic here, how important William Saliba is. And we kind of touched upon it when we were talking about Rob Holding a bit. How important do you think Saliba is? Because I already gave you that statistic about how you know the defensive numbers kind of look like with or without Saliba. What do you think, Bong Scouser? How important is Saliba to this team?
yeah. When we were discussing Gabriel, I think Saul mentioned that he's been the best player this season. But we must remember that our centre backs tend to play well when they have a reliable partner. Okay, and that's exactly what Saliba has been doing this season. So he's although Gabriel is the one who's been at the end of the crosses. He scored goals. He's had more impact, visible impact on the team. But Saliba has been equally important as well. He's been very
100%.
reliable. Hardly made any mistakes all season. I don't think he's made a single mistake in the season, right?
He did. He did.
I'm not.
He conceded a silly penalty against. I don't quite recall. We probably won that game against Bournemouth, if I'm not wrong.
Okay,
But
okay.
either way, he did. He did. But
Yeah,
even
I
then,
mean, yeah, he is very reliable. And like I said, they don't have Arsenal. They don't have a player to replace him at the moment.
We
I
don't.
think holding is not the answer to the centre back vacancy that has been created. But I think there is no one really, and so that's where without Saliba, I think Arsenal are going to be struggling.
100%. And Saliba is a very good, probably one of the best ball playing center backs in the world. He's
Yeah, yeah.
really good at that. But Saul, what do you think? We are hoping, just Arsenal fans, and Arteta has already mentioned it. He's expected to play for the Manchester City game. He probably will not be
He has to.
starting. Yeah, he has to. Yeah, but what do you think? With Saliba back, do you think there's going to be a major difference in our mentality and our performances?
They should be. I mean, even if he's like not 100% fit, I think he should play that game again based off, you know, the stability that he brings to the team. The options that he can give Arteta in terms of the play style. And
Mhm.
again, like when you're asking, is he the main guy? It's sort of like the same question that we did with is Manchester United Casemiro FC? No, and I think like as a team, when you're trying to win the title, the Premier League, you cannot depend on one player, one style, to just throughout the tournament, because you're going to get found out. Teams are going to figure you out, and of course, you're going to have injuries and suspensions. That's always there, but uh, when you're trying to, when you're trying to go for the title, you need backups in squad depth, definitely. And if you don't have that, you need to have some different styles of playing, maybe
Right.
more defensively, or maybe three at the back or something like that. And I don't think Arsenal have that. So
We don't.
it's out
And
of
you
that.
guys, you guys do
You need
realize that
Saliba.
our recruitment project is still not done. We need one more summer to get our bench sorted so that we have a strong
Of course,
enough,
yeah, yeah.
15, 16 player thing, which we probably going to have. And it seems like it could very well be the Liverpool 17-18 season where they, came in second, I think, with 91 points. Was it the 17-18 season, or was it the 18-19 season, I think?
18-19 season. Yeah.
Yeah, the season that you
18.
guys won the Champions League, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the season you guys came second, and it feels similar to me, and I have a feeling that
But you're
even
not going to win the Champions League. You don't have a Mane, a Fabinho,
we
a
we, we
Firmino,
don't we
a
don't,
Salah.
but we are getting better. You cannot say
Yeah,
this, and if
but what I'm trying
anybody's
to say is that
No, but
in the next season, you need to spend well and spend
we
well
will
on
we
big
will
players,
we
like
are linked
world class
heavily.
players. You
no,
cannot you cannot
but I
sign players
cannot.
like Fabio Vieira and say that
No,
he's
agree.
gonna do it.
No,
You need those
agree. No, we,
players.
we are linked with, we are going to be back in the Champions League. That's for sure. We need one more point to make sure that we actually got that 1 point today. So we are already in the Champions League. That's done and dusted. I don't see how we're not going to be spending. Our budget's going to increase by 50 million anyway for the group stage games
And
automatically.
it's
So
and it's not just about spending, right? It's also about
spending wisely.
association. It's also about attracting the right player,
But
because
we have
this
proven
is
that, Saul.
no,
We
but
have already
here's the
proved that our
thing. This
recruitment
is
is really
one of
good.
those. This is one of those transfer markets where there's going to be a lot of number nines, like whether it's in Harry Kane or Osimhen or Ferguson. You have players who are super young.
Goncalo. What's that guy from Benfica?
Goncalo
Goncalo.
Guedes, Goncalo Guedes,
No, not Guedes. Not Guedes. The guy from
Goncalo
Benfica who's
Ramos,
playing very good.
Goncalo
Ramos.
Ramos,
Ramos. Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Ollie
there's so many
Watkins.
players in different
Yeah. Ollie
tiers, right?
Watkins. What a player. That's that guy is really
Yeah,
amazing.
that's what I'm trying to say. If
Superb.
you spend the whole transfer window trying to get Ole Watkins and get him, I don't think that's the signing that Arsenal needs. Arsenal needs
No,
something like a Harry Kane or an Osimhen if they want to keep this up, if they want to
No,
keep challenging for
Watkins.
the league.
I think Watkins is equally good. Trust
no,
me.
he is. He is.
Watkins can do, when I used to watch Watkins,
For
last
Brentford,
last few seasons,
he used to play
he
for
could do
Brentford
all.
in the championship. I remember he used to
Yeah,
bang
he
in
could do
goals.
almost everything except that he was not a natural goal scorer. He never finished his moves, and
Now
But he
he
now
doesn't
is.
have the
this season
mentality.
he
He
is.
he does not have the mentality to finish top four or challenge the Premier League. This is the guy who got
That is
Stevie G
questionable.
sacked.
He's not got his
This is the
chance.
guy who
He's
got
not got
Stevie
his
G
chance.
sacked. Yeah,
Listen,
but he had a thing with the manager, right? I mean, you cannot expect him to compete against the Austrians and the Canes of the world.
no, I completely agree. The last topic at hand to discuss for Arsenal is Is it all on the heavyweight clash that we're expecting? I believe it's on the 26th, the weekend after this coming weekend, at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City going one-on-one against Arsenal. It's going to be, a headliner fixture for sure for the season. It's probably going to be the biggest match. All eyes are going to be on this match for sure. Um, what do you think, Saul? What's going to transpire at that game?
I'm not sure. I think it's going to be an excellent game for the neutral fan because, you know, top two teams. These are the only two teams that seemed like winning the title throughout the season, and it was never Manchester United. For some of you who thought it was Manchester United,
It was.
but no, it was never Manchester United. But anyways, like speaking of like this clash, I think as a neutral fan, I want it to be one of those games which is like entertaining from minute one to the last whistle because it is sort of set up in a way that it's at the end of the season. Of course, after this, you probably gonna have a few more matches to play, but then this is gonna be where Arteta goes back home, and it's Etihad, where
Home.
he.
Now,
Yes, I
Emirates
mean,
is his
okay,
home.
okay, fine. He's now he's got a new home, but
Not now.
that's where he started his
he
managerial, you know, uh,
yeah,
learnings. So
yeah.
he's the Padawan. He was the Padawan there, and now he's like sort of like a Jedi or something. Sorry for the Star Wars reference, but anyways, so yeah, it's going to be a big thing for Arteta to go and get some points, even if it's a draw, like get that 1 point there
Oh,
or
that'd be
try and
huge.
win, right?
If we get a
And
draw, it would feel like a win. Trust me, for Arsenal
and Pep
fans.
being Pep, he knows very well how important this match is. Well, I'm pretty sure in the press conference he's going to say something very controversial, or he's going to start with the mind game saying, "Oh, Arsenal should definitely win this. We are nobody. We are
I know.
nobody."
I so
and
see it happening. I so see it happening. Uh, my belief is that we are going to be losing, and we're going to be losing bad. I'll tell you why.
Yeah. I
It's
I feel the same.
Yeah, but
I
I'll give
feel
you
the
the
same.
reasoning, and I'll let you answer this question as well, Bong Scouser. But let me just tell you why I feel this. It's because Arteta knows that we only need a draw in terms of keeping them at that 3 point distance, right? If we both get a point, that distance stays on. We do not need a win, and the players are gonna have that same mentality. And I see Arsenal going 1 or 2 goals ahead again at the Etihad. We will score first. You will see. What's going to happen is going to be similar to the Anfield game. We're going to sit back thinking, no, we cannot be, I'm sorry, the Bong Scouts are going to drop there. Right there. He's back. So I truly believe that we're going to be scoring first. And what's going to happen is going to be very similar to what happened at the Anfield. And we're going to get super scared. The pressure is going to get onto us. We're going to start defending as early as 30, 40 minutes.
but that is not acceptable. I
It's
mean,
not. It's not. And then let me land. Let me land here. And if we do that, City is gonna eat us alive. That blue shark is gonna eat us alive, and we're gonna be conceding. It's gonna be a 4-2 or 5-1 or something of that sort because of our sitting back mentality. However, if Arteta decides that we're gonna take the game to them, if we have Zinchenko playing, we have Saliba playing in our first team playing, and Saka's on song. If we take the game to them, we have a better chance of getting a draw, in my opinion, than trying to contain Manchester City in this form. This is my opinion. But Bong Scouser, what do you think?
No, I think Arsenal are going to be beaten, and there's absolutely very little chance that Arsenal can go there and win. If it was at the Emirates, I would have said Arsenal could have a chance, but since it's at the Etihad and in the kind of mood that City are in, I think Arsenal don't have a chance there.
But
Very
how do you see
honestly.
the game playing out? I get the result, I get it. But how do you see the
Okay,
game playing
so
out?
I think the scoreline will be heavily in the favor of City. So I think I kind of predict at least a 2 or 3 goal, you know, margin of win for City,
that's going to be
because
embarrassing for Arsenal.
yeah, because the kind we are seeing it, we are seeing, and once that those doubts settle in to the minds of the players, it's very difficult to turn it around, and that's going to be a huge test for Arteta. If Arteta can really if Arsenal can come back next week and beat Southampton, 4-0, 5-0, then I could change my mind. But uh, from what I've seen after that Liverpool game, there are very little signs that Arsenal can really turn it around.
But
But let's see.
we are starting off like European locomotive. Every game in the first 10-20 minutes, we are, both the games we're 2-0 up. So it's folly on our players and the manager to sit back after that. Um, do you,
Yeah, that's
so
what. That's what.
do you
And
think
and
if
that
we take the
temptation is
game to
going to be
Manchester
there.
City?
That
Yes.
temptation is going to be there at the Etihad because of the form that City are in. That
Mhm.
temptation is going to be there. That let's just play it safe
Right, but
and get that 1 point.
let's not kid ourselves. Manchester City's defense is no brick wall that it cannot be broken. For sure. That we have already seen all season. And the way Arsenal play, for sure we're gonna score goals. That's not even in contention, trust me. It's not gonna be a clean sheet
But
home
are you
run.
going to get the ball? Are you going to get the ball in the mood that City are in? The
Hmm.
number of chances they are creating. You
Hmm.
should see that Bayern game and see how City have played in the midfield. In the
Agreed.
big games, they sort of have a different gear about them. And
Hmm.
that's the thing about City. And I'm sure if this is an important game for them, and they're going to come out there and they are going to have a different gear about them. And I'm sure I don't know Arsenal. I just don't think that they will have enough of the ball. If Arsenal have to
I
win, they have to win on the counter, and
I
that
don't
is
think
their
so.
probably their own chance.
I don't think Arsenal are this year's Arsenal is not a team that plays great on the counter. It is more a team
But
that
this month's Arsenal is.
sorry? Right.
I'm
No, no.
saying this month's Arsenal
No,
is.
this month's Arsenal is not great at counters. They have been playing counter football after the 30th or 40th minute. Doesn't mean that they're great at it. They clearly suck at it. But I'll just remind you one thing. The last time we played Manchester City at our home, we had about 75% possession. So it was probably a Pep Guardiola masterclass. I get it, but I see a similar thing happening. Our team right now has better intricacy. I know Manchester City has gotten better. I don't think it's going
No
to be
way.
seven. I certainly this is my opinion. We're going to have more possession against Manchester City
No way. No way.
unless
I,
we
I,
decide to to fall back. We're going to have more possession, just the way the Liverpool game happened. Don't think that Liverpool had more possession in the last 45-50 minutes because of their ability. For sure, it was the mentality of weakness that crept in with the players and the manager, that they felt like, we got a 2 goal lead, we're going to sit back and defend. Similar things probably going to be happening. This is my spoiler prediction. We're going to score first 1 or 2 goals, probably going to be 2-1 or 2-0 or something, and we're going to sit back, and that's going to be the end of our game right there. But let's move on
But
to uh
just to add to that, I mean, it
yeah.
doesn't it like feel like the last two games that Arsenal played, right? I mean, they've already seen what happened, so I expect something better from
I
Arsenal,
hope
right?
so. I hope so. I
And
truly
this
hope
is
so.
again like Arteta going back to Etihad. He's the only one in the Premier League who should know what Pep is like, how he trains, or what's his style like. You have Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus, who are ex Man City players, and this is where they should all kick in.
And
You've
Jesus is
been
in
making
phenomenal
but
been
you
form.
know what?
making You've been making Amazon
Arteta.
DVDs. You've been making Amazon DVDs, all or nothing. Make them watch that. Make them watch that before the game.
No,
This
you're
is a
right.
game that
But
But
listen,
decides.
you know what? But what I've seen of Arteta is not that result-oriented kind of manager. Okay,
he's
if
not. He's
if this
not.
was a Mourinho, if this was a Mourinho, what he would have molded his team in a way to play City. Okay, but Arteta is not that kind of a manager.
He's gonna play
He
his
is a
style,
very
his own style.
style-oriented. Yes, he's a
Yeah.
style.
He's
He's a
like
playing
Klopp. He's like
style-oriented
Jurgen
man.
Klopp. He's very Jurgen
Yeah,
Klopp.
yeah. So
Similar.
he's not going to
He
tweak his game to play City for
and then
sure.
and Arteta is making major blunders today. Okay, like uh
Yeah,
Saka is not in form. He played him till the 90th minute, and he took off Gabriel Jesus at 62nd
Gabriel
uh,
is yes,
when
right.
when Gabby Jesus has 4 goals in 3 games. He
Yeah,
shouldn't
but
be
I don't
doing
think
that.
he's no. But I think he's just saving him for the for next weekend or the
We
next
have
match.
one game
I
a
don't
week.
think he's
What
one hundred
the
percent fit. I don't think he's
Yeah,
100%
yeah,
fit.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
I
He's
don't think
coming off
Gabriel
an
Jesus can
injury.
play 90
Yeah,
minutes, and you
probably
cannot risk that before the City match.
maybe
that's true. That is
possibly.
true.
But anyway, listen. Enough talk about the top two in the league. Let's move on to Newcastle United and the top four
Shouldn't we
discussion.
talk about Manchester United first? We are third. Newcastle is fourth now.
Okay,
anyways,
you
you
know,
get
you
to
know what?
decide.
Listen, no, it's all good. It's all good. You want to talk about Manchester United? We're going to talk Manchester United right now. So we had a fantastic result today at the City Stadium of Nottingham Forest, 2-0. And we're going to be starting off with the first topic at hand, um, which I believe, I mean, I watched the second half of the game, part of the first half as well. I think Manchester United could have definitely scored 5 or 6
Yeah,
today,
yeah.
if not for Keylor Navas. I think he had a phenomenal performance, even though the scoreline doesn't, look good on Keylor Navas. Conceding 2 goals is never, something that you can proudly say, "Oh, I had the best game of my life." But I think he did. I think he probably had, 12 or 13 saves today, if not at least 10 plus. I'm going to check quickly while give your take on the game, Saul.
Yeah,
How
I
did
think
you feel?
United had around 20 shots, 20 more than 20 shots.
Yeah, but I'm just going to check how many saves he had. But Saul, how did you feel about the game, and what do you think? Did you guys deserve to score 6 goals, and why did you not? Yeah, go ahead.
I think this was a very nervy game for us because we gave away the win in the game on Thursday in the Europa League against Sevilla. We were leading 2-0 from it was a free game. I mean, like there were 2 own goals and then a couple of injuries to our center backs. So given that the fact that Martinez and Varane won't be playing for sure in this game, we were really really nervy going in. And to be honest with you, when the first goal took place, I was like, yeah, end the game right now. I'll take that 1-0 win any day because
Yeah.
again, you're away from Old Trafford. We don't have the best away record in the season. We have the best home record in the season, but we have probably one of the worst going away,
No,
playing away.
Liverpool are the worst. Liverpool have the
I said
worst
one
this
of
season.
the. I said one of the.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, yeah.
yeah,
so yeah, just from those 2 points, it was going to be like one of those matches where we have to grind a win. But again, like I think the way our midfield played, Bruno Fernandes. I mean, you guys have been talking about how Casemiro is the star player. Look at Bruno Fernandes. He has a fantastic match. Yes, he didn't score any goals, but uh, some of the through balls, some of the positioning, he was all over the pitch.
He is our highlight man in the second topic that we're going to be going about. We're
Exactly,
going to
and
be
also
talking
like
Bruno
Ericsson,
Fernandes.
when you have Ericsson, whenever Ericsson gets the ball, there are the opponents, they don't press because they know this player is smart. He will move
He
the
can
ball.
pick a
He doesn't have
pass.
the
He can pick a
pace.
pass. Yeah.
He doesn't have the pace. He doesn't have the physicality, but he's got the brains. And
Mhm.
having someone like him in the team, it just shows you. I mean, Casemiro is not putting in those crazy challenges. He doesn't need to because there is someone who's dictating, the tempo of the game, and that's what Ericsson brings. And we've not had him since January. So again, like having those players in the midfield sort of dictated how we play. Martial started as well. I don't remember the first time. I don't remember the last time that he started a match because Rashford has been playing, so it was good to see him play for 70 minutes or something. So yeah, overall, very happy to get the 3 points, and hopefully this would nail on our top
Top
four
four finish.
quest for the season.
I
Yeah,
think,
hopefully.
especially considering Newcastle dropped points.
Yeah, and
Important
they're
points.
playing Tottenham next, so
Nice.
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be taking points off of each other, if not one of them for sure. So, Saul, I'm sorry, Bong Scouser, what is your take on the game? Speak away.
yeah. So again, United were always going to win that game. We saw it from the start. They were playing very well, especially in that first half. I think they were really really good. Martial did not have a very good game today. I think he missed a sitter just before being taken off.
Mhm.
And but again, one man that Sorish did not mention is Anthony. He had a great game today. He scored a goal, made an assist. So yeah, I mean the team under Eric Ten Hag have performed very well this season, and I think don't get me wrong. I think this team, Nottingham Forest, they are an unpredictable team. They have taken off points from very big teams. Uh, with Liverpool as well, we had been beaten, uh, you know, uh, at their ground. So I think they're a good team, and there are some very big names in there. You see, Keylor Navas, Felipe, then Niakate. So they
Jesse
have some
Lingard,
big,
Dean
Jesse Lingard,
Henderson.
yeah. Yeah, so they have some very big names in that squad. So
Morgan
it was
Gibbs
never
White
going to be.
is a good
Yeah,
player.
they were not they are not an easy team to play against for sure. And I think like Saul mentioned that 1-0 was probably good enough, but I think Diogo Dallo got his first goal of his Manchester United
Premier.
career. So,
Yeah.
and he was absolutely pumped. If you you saw his celebration today, that was
It was
something
a good
else.
goal
And
as well, right? Like from
It
the
was
back.
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was
That
brilliant.
run that he made, brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And don't forget the pass. That pass was really good as well.
Was it
So
Anthony? That pass was
Anthony,
Anthony's?
Oh
yes,
yeah.
yes. Anthony,
Okay.
Anthony scored a goal and an assist today.
I
So
was going
he
to
had a
speak
great
about
game.
Diogo Dallo. The way he plays, I think he's going to be the main man under Eric Ten Hag once he has his defense and defensive players sorted, because he reminds me a lot of. They're different. Don't get me wrong. He's different from Trent Alexander-Arnold, but both of these players have tremendous impact on the attack of both Liverpool and Manchester United, respectively. In my opinion, I saw Diogo Dalot today. Not only did he score the goal, he was all over the pitch. He was getting in dangerous areas. Breaking the lines and creating spaces for others. Um, he's really good on the ball too. He's very good on the ball. What I'm not really sure about is his defensive ability, and I think he did concede a chance or two in the first half. If I'm not wrong, there was a moment where from he was playing on the left, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he
was
was
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
left back.
He considered a chance which this tall striker. I'm not really quite sure
Yeah,
what
yeah,
his
yeah.
yeah,
name
he
is.
got a heavy
Taiwo,
touch and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Taiwo,
yeah,
Taiwo,
yeah.
Taiwo.
Exactly. So he had a terrible touch which could have resulted in a 1-1 at that point in the first half, 44th or 43rd minute. But other than his defensive duties, he is really good. I think he's one of the best attacking fullbacks, and if he gets the protection that Trent had during their best years, I think he's going to flourish under Eric Ten Hag, and he's probably going to nail on the right back position. And because I don't see Ten Hag being a manager that would like a defensive right back, he would want an attack-minded fullback for sure, both at the left back position and the right back position going forward. But yeah, that's about it from my end. Now I'm going to talk about somebody, and this is I'm going to share a statistic with you guys. Since Bruno Fernandes joined Manchester United, the only players to have had 50 plus goals and 50 plus assists. Sorry, my bad. 40 plus goals and 40 plus assists in all of the top five leagues is Bruno Fernandes and Lionel Messi. And what a name to share the platform with. It doesn't get bigger than that. This guy has
What about
scored.
Kevin De Bruyne? De Bruyne
No,
isn't there?
no, he's not. It's on the official Premier League website as well. And then both Ligue 1 and Premier League shared the statistic. I saw it earlier yesterday. Bruno Fernandes has scored 60 goals in the Premier League since he joined, and he has provided 40 assists. That is phenomenal numbers. This guy, I get it. He complains, and whenever the team is losing, he's going to be the first guy, whining about it. He's going to be pointing at players. What are you doing? And those kind of things. But his productivity in terms of goals and assists, he is something else. What did you say? What would you say, Saul? You were speaking about Bruno a while back in the highest regards, but I want to do a little bit of a deep dive onto his performance and how he has been for you guys over the past 3 seasons.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's been the man. He's I know that Harry Maguire is supposed to be our club captain, but this season, since Ten Hag has come in, he has you made him sit on the bench. He's been a bench player, Harry Maguire, and Bruno Fernandes has been chaperoning the team as well as a captain. And you can almost say that when he's on the pitch, that the team gets this boost of confidence. I mean, in the Sevilla game, he was substituted, and then everything went to shambles. And he's also a player who plays like 90 minutes every game, and that's one of the reasons why I think we've been doing so well. Yes, he has his shortcomings. He's not like I don't think he's a complete player. He does try to play those Hollywood passes all the time, which some of them work, some of them don't work. He doesn't seem to be making the simple passes. But I think Eric Ten Hag is a manager that can change his game because he does have the ability. He is one of those midfielders who's not only dangerous like going forward, he can also like make the plays from the midfield to attack, and also he can play on the wings as well. So he's got those capabilities, and I think Harry Maguire can come from the bench in the 88th minute and take the armband off from him and pretend to be the captain. But at the end of the day, he is the captain, and every Manchester United fans recognize him as the leader of the team. And today, I think with all the injuries, with all the worries, he came out as a player without any goals, without any assists. That he's got the capability to be one of the best in the Premier League going forward. And I'm so glad that we have a manager like Eric Ten Hag who can mold him, who can adjust him into the team and make him play those important roles that would help the team when going forward.
You said that he didn't have a goal and assist, but the first goal that you guys created,
I
it was
guess,
a, it was a first time pass to Martial. It was a first time pass to Martial.
yeah.
He squandered the chance, and Anthony scored the rebound. But if you look at that pass, no look, first touch.
Exactly, and that's what he's good at, right? Those passes, and also the shot that Nevas he saved, like, and he tipped it up to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
crossbar.
exactly. Yeah.
It
Oh
was an
my God, it
insane
was like
shot.
it
Yeah,
was it was a side-footed curler, but it was so powerful. I've never seen somebody hit a curler so hard. Yeah, it was
yeah.
crazy.
So unlucky not to be in the score sheet or
Mhm.
putting in an assist, but he had a spectacular game today.
Saul, do you think Bruno Fernandes deserves to be sharing the same platform as Lionel Messi over the past 3.5 years?
Messi's old. He's won the World Cup. It's time to retire for him. This is not
Oh,
his time.
not
This is
not
Fernandez' time.
not not from a perspective of international football. Bruno Fernandes is not gonna, compare with Messi as to what he has done. But I'm talking about from the sense of club football, considering he's playing for Manchester United and he's playing for PSG. That's not in the same ilk of competition.
Yeah, and again, like you have to realize that Messi is sort of in the phase of his career where he's almost in a retirement contract with PSG. He's getting all the money. Of course, he is a talent that the world has never
He-
seen, like
let's
no
let's not
other.
go
So
there.
he
Let's
can
not
do
go there.
that.
He's still not done. Trust me. He's still got a solid
Not in
3 and a half.
PSG, yeah, definitely. I mean, if he comes to Premier League, we I think
Yeah,
there'll be a good
he's gonna
comparison.
he's gonna head back to Barcelona. That's what's gonna
Of
happen.
course, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Bong Scouser, what do you think? Talk to me.
So I'm not a big fan of Bruno Fernandes. Let me be very honest. Yeah, I there's no doubting his ability. He's a solid attacker. I think he's got everything about him. He can play those passes very well. He can score goals, take great penalties. So that's probably the best facet of his game. But yeah, he's got everything about him. So, but then I think he's someone that doesn't contribute in those big games. I've never seen a big game where he's performed in and he's made Manchester United win. So he does not play those big games very well. And I think that's what you expect from big players and people leading from the front, and and somehow I believe that again it's down to the mentality. He's not someone who rises to the occasion. So that's the only criticism of him. But having said that, he is one of the key players that Manchester United have. There's no doubting it. And going forward, they are going to build the team around him. Uh,
Right,
so
right.
so yeah,
They will,
No,
and
but
I think
is
he's gonna
the
get. Sorry.
the thing about not rising to the occasion, I think it's based on his character and his temperament. Like Jishmaester said that he's always complaining and things like that. And again, as a Manchester
yeah,
United fan, when I look at a Manchester United captain, the first player that comes into mind is Roy Keane, and he's almost got the opposite characteristics of Roy Keane, where he's always nagging, complaining. But at the end of the day, that's who he is. That's the player
That's
Bruno has always
personality
been.
type.
That's
However,
his
once
personality type.
once whenever he gets support, with players like Casemiro and Ericsson, I've seen him flourishing really well. And there is a guy that's heavily linked with Liverpool. Today I saw the news, and it's from credible sources. Liverpool, Manchester United, and Chelsea are heavily linked. I would love to have this guy in my team. Alexis McAllister, and I think he's going to be making the move come summer for sure. He's not going to be cheap for sure. He's going to, be north of 50, 60, 70 million pounds for sure. But I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think of Brighton and Alexis McAllister and what they could potentially be doing this coming weekend against Manchester United? They have a semi-final in the FA Cup to play against.
That's again. So Brighton are a great team. About McAllister, I'm not very sure. I think he's played well in the World Cup. That's what I've seen, and in the Premier League, he's decent. But
He's been
I don't see
phenomenal.
anything.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Alexis-
yeah, of course, he's great. But I don't see anything very special about him. It's just how the manager plays him. I think
he's
I don't see.
no,
He's a
no.
great player.
He's an amazing
He's
midfielder.
tactically, like I said, he understands the game well. He plays well, but he's not. I don't see anything special about him. He's not a Bruno Fernandes or a
No,
Jude Bellingham kind of player.
he is
So
not a creator. He is not. He's a number 8, and he is going to be always hounding players down. He's going to be providing, those tiki-taka
that's what I
passes to
said.
other
Yeah,
players, and he's got a crazy engine on him. He's a really good player. I'm not sure.
he
Well,
he he is a like I said. He could be a Jordan Henderson or a James Miller or
no,
yeah. It, he's in that mold. He's in that mold. He's not. He trust me. He's in that mold.
we'll
He's
see.
that when he was playing for Argentina as well. He doesn't do anything special. Again, like you said, he's an engine. He's tactically great. I think he's played well under all managers till now. He played well under Potter, De Zerbi, and the Argentine manager as well. So he understands the game well. That's good, and I think wherever he goes, he will be a solid performer. But will he be a game changer? I don't think so. No, he's definitely not worth 70 million north.
Where do you
Yeah, I
think?
sort of agree. I sort of agree with Bong Scouser. I think he's good. Don't get me wrong, but I think from a Manchester United perspective, Eric Ten Hag has always been obsessed about Frankie De Jong, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the things that's going to
Yeah,
happen in the next transfer window as well. And here's the thing: if we can target, I'm not saying we're going to get Frankie De Jong. Why would you go for this guy? This guy has Arsenal
yeah.
written all over him. It's like, and Brighton
Oh,
is
I would
sort of
love
going
him.
to exactly, and Brighton is sort of going to be a feeder club for Arsenal, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you get a player like that, you won't be able to challenge the league. You
Why
need world
not?
class players.
What
Yeah.
are you talking
I
about?
mean, he's fine, but he's not going to help you like win the title.
Listen, I let's agree to disagree there. I want to ask you guys, what do you think is going to be happening over the weekend? Do you think Manchester United is going to get the better of Brighton in the FA Cup semi-final? Do you see Manchester United going through and playing the finals?
I think it's going to be a difficult match for two reasons. Number one, Sabitzer is apparently injured. He was in the team sheet, but he got injured. He's got a groin injury while training before the match. So I'm
Mhm.
really worried about that. And the other thing is Harry Maguire is suspended. So which means with Varane and Martinez already out, I think Luke Shaw is probably going to play centre back. I'm not even sure if he's fit. And if he's not fit, we don't have a backup, which means like Casemiro plays centre back. So I don't know. We don't have any youngsters in the team as well. Like if you check today's squad, the
Maybe
Manchester
Wan
United
Bissaka.
squad.
Maybe Wan Bissaka could play centre back, and if Malacia is back, he could probably play left back, and Delo could play right back
But
potentially.
yeah, I mean these are combinations that we've not seen yet
Or
in
Phil
Manchester
Jones.
United.
What's
Phil
happening to
Jones,
Phil Jones?
he's not in the squad, man. He's not in the Premier League squad
So why is he getting paid? What is he doing?
because there's a contract. He's not in the squad, so he's just there
So he's
chilling,
getting free
taking his
money.
money. Yeah,
My
but this is
God.
I think his contract is expiring this season, so obviously not going to get renewed. So yeah, I mean he's out of the question. So again, like these combinations of Van Bissaka playing center back or something like that, we've not seen that, and that's going to be risky from a Manchester United point of view, and that's what scares me because Brighton, they're a really damn good team.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We saw it against Chelsea, and I know that it's a neutral location in Wembley because it's a semi-final, but still, like we have to make sure, like just like today's game against Nottingham Forest, we need to put the pressure on big players like Ericsson, Fernandes. They need to show up and have the possession, because Brighton is a team that can have the possession as well. They can take the
Of
possession. We
course,
saw
of
in
course.
team in Chelsea. So hopefully it's not going to be that bad. I don't have a lot of confidence when it comes to winning the FA Cup. To be honest, because it is there, and I think winning the Europa League is much better than the FA Cup, anyways, and it's easier as well. I think so. So I don't know. Hopefully, we'll be able to win this, but yeah, with the injuries and everything else, I'm not too sure.
Okay, listen, I think it's going to be a tight game. It's probably going to head to extra time, in my opinion. That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be a very good match to watch. I'm pretty sure. I think United's going to edge, and then they're going to get in the finals. But what do you think, Bong Scouser? Do you think what's the scoreline going to be?
I think United will come under serious threat from Brighton, because Brighton are a great team. I think
Mhm.
under Decherby they are playing really really well, and they have they are almost playing like a top side. If you see them
Mhm.
play, the combinations, uh, the build up, it's absolutely great to watch. And I think they've always performed well against the big teams. Uh, but I think with United, they have some big players in there, and if you know they have that mentality to pull it off. I think they've already won a cup, and these players, know how to get the job done. I think United will eventually get over the line.
So I guess we're all on the same page. We're going to be moving on to United's closest top four rival for this season, Newcastle United. And straight answer: will Newcastle get Champions League football next season? Bong Scouser, what are you saying?
Yes, they will. They will. But it's not just down to them. It is about the inability of teams like Tottenham Hotspur and Liverpool to really give them a good
Just so
fight.
you know, just so you guys know,
Aston Villa as well, right?
if you look at the points table, Brighton. So the
Yeah.
highest chance is Manchester United. I'm going to talk about the third and fourth position. Manchester United, has the best case scenario right now. Next up is Newcastle United. Third is Brighton if they win the two games in hand. Fourth is Tottenham Hotspurs. Fifth is
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, and sixth is Liverpool. Between these six teams, potentially two teams are going to get in. United's probably got one foot in the door anyway, but for that last spot, there's five teams to battle it out.
Yeah,
So
but
what do you think with
but I think
Newcastle?
I think yeah, I think even then, I think Newcastle, if I'm not mistaken, I think even if Brighton win those two games, they'll still
Newcastle
be
has
around three. Yeah.
yeah, but Newcastle still got to play Spurs, and I mean, there may be potential points dropped. We can't just calculate all games times three and expect that people are going to be winning all their games, right? That's not how it works.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But I think Newcastle have done very well this season. I think let's forget the Aston Villa game, because Aston Villa are playing really good this season. I mean, under Unai Emery, they are playing really well, and I think what we saw last game, they were they were almost like they were going to humiliate Newcastle. They were going to win 5-0, 6 in that game, but they missed a couple of chances, and that made the 3-0 sort of this was scoreline which heavily favored Newcastle, because Aston Villa looked like winning 6-0, 7-0 that game easily. Uh, but still, I think Newcastle have it in them to come back. We have seen whenever Newcastle have played badly in a game in Liverpool, they've come back and won the next game. So we've seen that from Newcastle this season, and I think if there's anyone who's going to finish fourth, it's probably Newcastle. Yes,
Mhm. Is Alan Saint Maximan injured, guys? He didn't play today at all.
I think he's injured. Yes.
Okay. They didn't look well, not today, man. Yesterday, they didn't look like themselves at all. I mean, I was really
Yeah.
surprised the way they played.
And
They
that's
were
where I think it comes to the manager. I think Unai Emery is one of those managers who've managed so many clubs in Europe. He has the experience. He
has a
knows
pedigree for
how
sure.
to boss around
We will
anyhow.
talk Emery in a bit for sure. But do you think Newcastle's going to finish in the top four?
They should. I think, let's face it, Spurs is in a pretty crappy form as well. They lost against Bournemouth. So, given those two facts, I think, and I don't think Brighton is going to make it to top four because it's just one spot, right? I think Manchester United is pretty much nailed on in the top
Hmm.
four, whether it's third or fourth, doesn't matter.
Hmm.
So it's just one more spot left. And if it's not Spurs, I think it's going to be Newcastle. And
You don't see
it's
Aston Villa making a late charge or Liverpool
no, not
making a late
No,
really.
charge.
too far behind. Too far. Yeah,
Too far behind.
they are already making a charge, but I think they are too far behind. If you
I
ask
see.
me,
I see.
uh,
Although,
I think I think they are around 6 points behind, and they have played 2 games more. Yeah,
right.
I think something like that. So
Hmm.
so they are too far behind. So
Right. But depending on whether they finish in the Champions League spots or not, this next topic at hand could definitely have a huge impact, whether they get Champions League football or not, which is um, Newcastle United getting linked with Jude Bellingham. I saw this um, video today on ESPN where people were saying Newcastle have the money, and if they finish in top four positions, why wouldn't Jude Bellingham choose a project like Newcastle United? And somebody came and put up a comment that that's because Newcastle United's a smaller club than Dortmund. I had a really good, laughter right there. But excuse me 1 second. That was my cat. Really sorry about that. So, um, what do you guys think? Do you think Jude Bellingham has any chance of landing in Newcastle United? Saul.
Maybe. I mean, if you look at the whole situation with Jude Bellingham, it's not just about his salary and which club he wants to go. It's also about Dortmund. I think Dortmund is one of those clubs that they really want to take, a lot of money out of,
Mhm.
a sale. And if it's about that, then it's just down to people who have money, and that is definitely City and Newcastle. It's not Liverpool. It's not Arsenal. Definitely not Manchester United. Uh, based
Why
on
not Manchester United? What do you mean? You guys are
I think no. So I think our transfer window is probably going to get delayed or like kind of ruined based on our sale
the
of the
sale,
club,
right?
and
sale, yeah.
and I think that's why I'm not confident that we'll be able to get the signings that Ten Hag wants for the next transfer window. So
Going
it's
off
down.
topic here a bit. Sorry, guys,
Yeah,
but Glazers are the stingiest rats I've ever met. These guys are starting a new round of bids, and some of the people that initially bid that they found it really disrespectful, and they're backing
yep.
out. They're like, we are not gonna participate in this,
They
game.
want the 6 billion, and they don't care about anything else. They absolutely don't care about anything else. They either want the 6 billion or they're going to get some investment fund companies from America to loan them out, which is also like really stupid because again, that's more debt, right? We already have $1 billion debt in the club.
Mhm.
Anyways, speaking of Jude Bellingham, I think so. If it's about Dortmund, going for that price tag, Newcastle they seem like a contender because they have the money. But then
Mhm.
again, if someone like Bellingham has a say on which club he wants to go, then in that case, I don't think he's going to say Newcastle over City, right? Because definitely he would want to play under Pep Guardiola, and that's one of the reasons why Liverpool they have sort of. I mean, I'm not sure whether they've figured out that they cannot afford it or it's a
But
bad idea,
but
but
I've read an article where I think it was from the Athletic where one of the reporters mentioned that when Jude Bellingham was asked that what sort of a club would you like to join, and he mentioned that for him he would not like to go to a club where all that matters is the money. He would want to be the central figure in a team, and he wants to be the one who would actually influence that team and take that team forward. So that will be the kind of motivation for him, and
Mhm.
that's exactly why he was inclining towards Liverpool, where he is he's a fan of Gerrard, and he wants to be that next Gerrard. So I think Newcastle could present him with the opportunity, but Newcastle have a similar kind of a player in Grimarish. So I don't think
But they can
they have
afford the
he's
fees. They can afford the
yeah,
fees.
they can, but I don't think that Jude Bellingham will be a priority for them. They don't need a midfielder right now. So
True, true.
so I think the realistic chance is City because Gundogan will be leaving in the summer, and And I think, but from what I read is that Bellingham could stay one more season at Dortmund, simply because he believes that Dortmund have a great shout in winning that Bundesliga, and he wants to win the Bundesliga. So he could stay that one more year, and then again this could drag
Leave
on
on it.
next year.
I
Yeah.
see. Do you think we have a chance at all? We have been linked,
Yeah,
just
of
so you know.
Yeah,
course.
mate. I mean, if you can spend 130, sure, go for it.
Yeah, of
Don't
course.
think
And I think,
your club is
and to
going to
be
pay that
honest,
much.
to be very honest, I think Arsenal is going to be a great club for Bellingham. If not Liverpool, Arsenal are going to be a great club because they have a young manager and the team, and that's a young team, and he can be one of the leaders that
Don't
Arsenal have been missing.
don't add any more young players into that team. They need experienced players. Jude Bellingham is what, 19 or 20?
That's
Don't add
19.
any
that's
more
true. That's
youngsters there.
but he has that personality, although he's a young player, but he has that personality. If you see him whenever he's playing in that England shirt, also he's driving that team, and he has control around the players that the play around him. So
He's
so
very
I
good
think
friends with
I
Bukayo Saka, just so you know. Not that really
he's
matters.
even better friends with Trent
Yeah.
Alexander-Arnold
And we
Is he?
all saw how that
and
went.
Henderson. Yeah,
And
so
Henderson is not friends with. Henderson is like an old junkie.
no, but
he,
he's but they were taking pictures in the shower, so understand how good friends they are.
That's more than friends, man. That's not just friends. Taking pictures of the shark.
Yeah.
Henderson and his saggy balls. I'm really sorry. Anyway, we're going to be talking about a manager that has been regularly getting the best out of teams and players. And I think Arsenal did not do something, in my opinion, it was not the right thing to do. He should have been given more time. That is Mr. Good Evening Unai Emery. The English press and fans alike, like ourselves, Saul, we have made a lot of fun of this guy. We've seen a bunch of videos of where his
Good
accent.
evening.
Good, yeah, we've seen a lot of videos of him being made fun of. But this guy is not only the serial Europa League winner, he is a top quality manager. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. The way Aston Villa are playing under
Bong
him,
Scouser, do
it's
you want to move your camera a little bit to the right just so that you fit the frame?
okay. I'll check myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. Yeah, carry on.
yeah. So he's absolutely fantastic. The team, the how Aston Villa are playing under him, they're absolutely amazing to watch. The team has gone some levels up in a matter of like 7-8 games, and it's not about just the new manager bounce. If you see them, they build up the understanding within the team. I mean, they are really playing well, and I think if Aston Villa can manage to reach the Europa League, they are going to be, you know, they're going to be champions contender. To be very
They have
honest,
rich
because
owners too. Just so you know, they have pretty decently rich American owners, if I'm not wrong, and they are always looking to invest. They they they
yes,
they,
yes,
they have been one of the highest spenders in the Premier League for the past couple of seasons.
and Emery is Mr. Europa. If
Yes,
Mr. Europa is Unai Emery, and he has pedigree in that competition. If they can go to the Europa League, I think that would be a very big motivation for Aston Villa. They can certainly end up, in those Europa League places.
do you
And
think they'll finish top six?
yes, yes, I really do think so.
So
They
who
will
is
finish
missing
top
out?
six.
So who's missing out? Liverpool and
I guess Brighton then.
Brighton, Liverpool, Spurs,
I think
Villa. Two
Liverpool will.
teams.
I think Brighton will miss out. I think so.
And
So
Spurs and Spurs will miss
and
out as well.
oh, sorry, I'm sorry. So Spurs will be fifth, and I think Liverpool are going to miss out. Yeah, sorry. So I think because Liverpool, if you see the press conferences, and I think the Liverpool players, they've already given up on this season.
Mhm.
I saw Konate's interview this season, and they're already talking about next season. So I
So
think
is
they've
Klopp. So
already
is
given
Klopp.
up.
Klopp has already promised that there's going to be heavy investment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, let's go back to the question. So,
Mhm.
whether Unai Emery needed to be given time at Arsenal, I think yes, for sure he needed to be given time. I think uh, just the fact that he was he was not a fancy figure at at that time. Not someone who the English media liked, and
He was also
he
succeeding
was
Arsene Wenger.
Yeah,
That definitely had a role to play, for sure.
right.
But he's never compared on a regular basis, Saul. I mean, if you when you're talking about elite level managers, we speak of Zidane, Pep, we speak of Carlo
no, he's not.
Ancelotti, we speak of Jurgen Klopp. But I believe we also speak about Thomas Tuchel. Why does Thomas Tuchel get more mileage than somebody like Unai Emery? Why? Just because of that fluke of a Champions League victory? I no, I'm listen. I'm not. I
Oh,
don't want
no,
to
no,
call it,
no.
but
That's yeah, but I understand your question, and I think the answer is
Emery
like
is underrated in that sense.
definitely he's
That's true, but
underrated, but
but
you if
Tuchel's been in 2 Champions League finals.
exactly, and it's not just about the tournaments; it's also about the teams that you manage, right? I mean, if you look at
Yeah,
Tuchel, you have PSG, you have Chelsea, now you have Bayern Munich, you had Dortmund previously. I mean, you look at Unai, he was there in PSG, but at the same time, he's been managing Sevilla, and they're not like the best teams of that league, and now he's with Aston Villa,
yeah,
and
yeah,
maybe he is that sort of a manager who builds smaller teams and gets them to top six or top four or something like that. Maybe he doesn't need to win a title. Maybe he is
yeah,
the master class when it comes to the Europa League and not in the Champions League. So I think that also matters because when you have like Tuchel is like you have to consider him as one of the top five managers in the world right now. I mean, whether you like it or not, just based on the clubs that he's managed, just based on the tournaments that he's played and the trophies and the finals and things like that. So based out of that, I don't see the same for Unai. I mean, you can win the Europa League as much as you want, but that cannot be compared with the Champions League, right?
No, of course not. But I think Tuchel's going to be sacked next season. 100% sure midway through the season. They're just, they're a complete shambles. He's made the team worse after taking over from, what was that guy's name, the young one?
Nagelsmann.
Nagelsmann, yes.
Nagelsmann.
He's taken over the team and has made it worse. They just drew against Hoffenheim.
Just played like three or
Too
four
early to
games.
judge. It's been two
Yeah, give him
games.
some
It's
time.
just been yeah.
I don't know.
Been
I just
two or
don't.
three games.
He never sits well with me. I think Emery is seriously underrated. But we're come to the close to the end of our show, and the next topic at hand is Chelsea Football Club. And another statistic to be shared with you guys: Chelsea has the worst Premier League record amongst all teams. Other 20 teams in the Premier League since October the 15th. They have won less games than any other team in the Premier League since October the 15th. I do not know how they're not in a relegation battle. I guess they accumulated some points in the beginning of the season when Tuchel was around. But talk to me, guys. Tell me what's going on at Chelsea.
Well, they also have the worst manager in the Premier League, I think, and based off of that. And if you look at the situation, like he's
Two
come
of
in at
the
a
worst.
point
Don't
where,
forget, two of the worst managers this season.
of course, and again, like he's come into the club in such a moment where they have nothing to prove. I mean, it's all about saving grace, right? They just have to like get some points and just not enter in a relegation battle or be in the bottom tier of the Premier League, right? That's all they're going to get out of it, and that's the job that Lampard has, and all the fans know that as well. So based off of that, I think they've probably written it away. I uh, I saw that they extended Enzo Fernandez contract
Yeah,
to I think 8 years or
that was
something like
funny.
that. It's very funny out of nowhere, and it kind of seemed like that was a Todd Bowley move where he knew that Lampard is not getting the victory, so might as well do something positive and have a PR spin out there. But I mean, fans are not stupid, right? And I think the problem with Todd Bowley is he doesn't know how English football works.
No, he
He's
doesn't.
yeah,
He's
and
the
that's
reason. He is the reason for
Do
Chelsea's
you know what? Do
downfall.
you know what he said? He was asked to give a prediction before the Real Madrid game. You know what he said? We're going to win 3-0. That's what he said.
He is the reason for Chelsea's downfall. Let me tell you why.
Yeah,
Sporting
he does.
director of any football club in 2023 is one of the most important jobs at a football club. The role of a sporting director. He himself has assumed the role of a sporting director, even though he has never, ever, ever held any management role in any European sport, let alone soccer or football. So how does this guy just himself, make himself and surround himself with a bunch of yes men and then just make himself the sporting director? He is the reason for Chelsea's demise, in my opinion, and I don't see them getting any better. I don't, and I'm going to tell you the fixtures they have coming up. Okay, they're going to play Brentford, They're going to play Arsenal
Yeah.
away. They're going to play Bournemouth away, and Bournemouth's had a really good, string of
Yeah.
form coming up. They're going to play
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest fighting relegation. They're going to play Manchester City away. They're going to play Newcastle home. I see them getting dragged into a potential very late scourge into, a relegation battle. Maybe 3 points are going to save them. If they can just get 3 points, they're going to be
So
saved.
I
Saved
think
for
they
sure.
already have 38 points.
Yeah, they
So
do.
so 40 points is enough to
They also need to play Manchester United at Old Trafford, just so you know, it got postponed.
I think
Oh, okay.
since
Wow.
so if they can get 2 more points, I think they'll save themselves. But yeah, without doubt they are the worst team in the league, without any doubt. Even
They
with
are
even with that much budget spent, they are still the worst team in the Premier League for
What if
sure.
100%.
what if uh, what if we see Lampard and Chelsea beat Real Madrid in Stamford Bridge? What happens?
Not happening. Not
Like,
Not
but
happening.
you've
happening. Not
seen
happening.
these
I will
freak
come
shows.
live on this channel and shave myself live on
Nobody
camera.
wants to see that. Do something
I
else.
exactly that's how embarrassing it is going to be for me. I will do it if Chelsea beat Real Madrid. 100%. Okay.
No, I think anything can happen in football. Let's not get too ahead.
It
Uh,
is not
and
possible.
and and when you see the team lineup, uh, that looks really class to me. I mean, you see, they have top defenders like Thiago Silva, Koulibaly. Then in the midfield they have
Thiago Silva's
N'Golo
injured. That
Kante,
that is the
Enzo
biggest miss.
Fernandes, Kovacic, Kovacic. Uh, Strikers, well, they are playing João Felix and Kai Havertz. So if you see that lineup, if you see that lineup and tell me that they can beat Real Madrid, I would say yes, they can. They just need to have a good day. But seeing how they played so far in the season,
But they
no
can't
one's going
score
to predict
goals.
that.
I think that's where the
Yeah,
problem is. They cannot score goals. I mean,
They're the
Kai Havertz is
worst.
absolutely crap, but even without him, if you look at João Felix, Sterling, I mean, they're not being able to score goals. It's just like that's
yeah.
Ja-
been the main problem.
João Felix, out of 6 outings against Real Madrid, has never scored a goal, never assisted a goal against them,
Yeah,
including the
but
time
he
that
played
they
well.
had.
But he's still Chelsea's best player. I've
In the
seen all
team
the
that is
games.
the worst, the team that is in the worst in the Premier League, they're the worst, tally of wins in the Premier League
Yeah,
since
yeah,
October the
I would
15th.
agree to that. I would agree to that. And Real Madrid are the best team in the Champions League. We know Manchester City are really good, but then
Yeah,
Real Madrid are the best team in the Champions League. And
absolutely,
uh, I,
absolutely.
I think there's a 0.0001% chance that Chelsea can, win this tie.
Absolutely. We're going to move on to the last topic at hand today. Another team that has been severely underperforming, and I definitely think they do not deserve to be playing in the Champions League and representing England's fraternity in European elite football. That is Tottenham Hotspurs. It is a horror season for them. They hate to see us top of the league. Whether we win the league or not doesn't matter. They would probably going to be partying all night if we do not win the league. I'm 100% sure that's how sour they are. But what do you guys think? Do they deserve to play in the Champions League? Doesn't matter whether they have players like Harry Kane and
No way.
Heung-min Son. The way they're playing with that squad, the way they're defending against teams like Bournemouth, they're complete shambles. Do they even deserve to play in the
Exactly.
Champions League? Because
No
if they
way.
finish in the Champions League places, they're gonna paper over the cracks again, and Daniel Levy is gonna be like, "Oh, target reached. We're good." They're gonna invest another 50, 60, 70 million, and they're gonna paper over the cracks, and they're gonna continue on the season. That's exactly what's gonna happen. They're never gonna have the reboot that they really need that club. But tell me,
No way.
Bong
And I
Scouser,
think no way. I think there's something really wrong at that club. It's just not the ownership. Even the players, if you see Heung-min Son, and then when he was asked about Antonio Conte, he said that it was his fault. I mean, the players are too nice, and he said that it's his fault that he did not play well and the manager got sacked. I mean, that's just wrong mentality, I would say. I mean, okay, I mean, I understand that, you know, uh, I don't know. He's well, and he's being very nice, but that's not the mentality of an elite player, if you ask me, because uh, you the manager has to get the best out of you. I think that's why the manager is there. And if you see the other players in the team as well, somehow they don't give us the impression that they are players. And they have, even with players like Harry Kane, with Heung-min Song, it's strange. They have never been serial Champions League contenders. I mean, Champions League positions. They have never contested for Champions League positions. Only when the time that Mauricio Pochettino was there, they were there. But after that, it's just they have just gone off the boil. And I think, if you ask me, those players, I don't know what it will take for that club to be, be there in those Champions League positions. They don't deserve it at the moment, and I don't know. And the future does not look good at all. I don't know what they will need, if you ask.
Yeah, Saul, they are, they have been probably in the last decade one of the highest spenders in the Premier League. Last decade. Um, they've bought mediocrity in a lot of positions, in my opinion. Except for Heung-min Son and Christian Romero, I don't think they've bought really good, high quality players. Maybe Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is a decent player, but
no, what that guy, the midfielder from Brighton, he was a great player. That many of the top clubs were after,
Basuma?
right?
Bissouma, yes.
Bissouma, yes. See what's happened to him.
But maybe
Lot
he
of the
didn't
other
fit the
players.
profile of
Pedro
the
Porro.
manager. But maybe these are not players that are, maybe Daniel Levy, just like Todd Bowley, is way too deep into the management and operations of the club, which he shouldn't be. It's probably a similar thing. They don't have. They fired, a lot of good people that they had in place when Pochettino was around. So, yeah, Saul, what do you think?
It's a mystery, really, at Spurs. It's a mystery that
For
that
sure it is.
really no one has an answer to.
I think they have the best striker in world football. I get it. Erling Haaland is banging the goals, but when you look at the past 10 seasons,
Yeah.
they have the best striker in world football. They have an electric wing. I think they have a really good squad, that should not be playing the kind of football that they're playing right now. Saul, what do you think is going wrong with them?
I think when you speak of Spurs, and not Spurs this season, but if you dial back to maybe the three seasons back, or even like 5 seasons back, I think the problem has always been from a point of view of the temperament, and not from the players or the manager, but the board.
Even the
They
fans.
have. I don't think it's the fans. I think it's more from the board. I mean, if you
That
look
they're
at the
happy with
club,
Ford, just so you know, they're happy with Champions League football. A lot of them, they have a huge contingent of fans in the United
course.
Kingdom that's just happy to be hanging about the Champions League, to be able to say that, oh, we play in the same league as the Real Madrids and the Bayern
But even
Munich.
Arsenal fans were, right? Even Arsenal
No, no,
fans
no,
would have
no,
been
no.
happy
We were
with
not.
top four.
We were not.
That's
The
the point
fans were
here.
never. We were always
What do
like.
you
If you
say?
ask,
We were always
Back in the Wenger days,
Yeah.
remember? It was just about top four.
I know we were finishing fourth all the time, but did we ever say? Did you ever see an Arsenal fan video where we said
Yeah.
we're satisfied with fourth? No, we were not.
Of course,
we're never satisfied.
because you were fighting for top four against Tottenham. That was the
No,
whole
we
deal
had
back
banners
then.
out all the time. We want Wenger out. We want, we were never happy with fourth. We wanted to
see,
even.
if before the season I asked you what would you be happy with for this
You
season,
would have
and
said
you would
top
have
four. You
surely
wouldn't
told me
say
top
I'm
four.
like,
That's
I'm
right.
You
Yeah,
wouldn't say that champion.
Of course,
you wouldn't say
of
that
course.
you would be champion.
That's because we're at the beginning of a project, but back even in 2009-10 season, we were in the semi-finals of Champions League. We are not, and we were dejected that Manchester United didn't finish.
9-6. What are you talking about? When were you in the semifinals of the Champions League?
2009-10. Cristiano Ronaldo, knocked us
okay.
out. That
Oh,
free kick
yeah.
and everything.
Twice.
Long time.
Yeah, but
I
I'm
was
just-
in middle school then.
Yeah,
Same here.
okay, yeah, and I was in high school probably. But anyway, either way, I'm just saying that we do not share the same mentality. Tottenham fans are just happy to finish above Arsenal in the league.
No, I get the rivalry between like Arsenal fans and Spurs fans. If I ask a Spurs fan, they'll probably say the opposite, where and I get that, and that's fine, that's fair. But just speaking of like Spurs, I think it's more of the board. Daniel Levy, they built the best stadium probably in England after Wembley. They're selling out tickets to the Beyonce concert, the Guns N' Roses. I think the objective of the club is more driven like commercially rather than
Make
football
money.
wise, which I think Manchester United went through as well. When we had Ed Woodward, it was more about getting the best sponsors, getting the biggest names in the in the sport, like someone like signing Bastian Schweinsteiger, where Ed Woodward said he's a world class player, he's going to win us the Premier League. He doesn't even know
what Bastian Schweinsteiger does in his 30s, he has no idea. So I think I'm not sure if Levy is as clueless as at Woodward, but I think the objective from club point of view, it's more commercially driven rather than spending on the right players or keeping Harry. They just want to keep Harry Kane for, and nobody knows why. I mean, they're not going to improve the team around him, so which means he's just there winning no trophies, being the best, probably the best striker, English striker out there, doing nothing, getting nothing. Getting managers like Mourinho, Conte, who are world class managers, but then again, like getting nothing out of them. So what is the point, right? We've seen this, play out again and again. Maybe they'll get Pochettino again, or maybe a Nagelsmann. But again, if you don't have the backing from the manager in terms of getting the right players or making those mistakes and again spending and reinvesting in the transfer window, you won't see that success. And it sort of seems like they are more commercially driven right now. And Spurs fan would tell you the same.
But strangely enough, they have taken all the right decisions. They brought in Fabio. What's his name? Fabio Patrici. Is that his name? Yeah, he's a very successful, director of football, and they've also tied down Harry Kane, which
but
was
that's not
always
going to
going to be a
work,
difficult
right? That's
thing.
exactly what I'm trying to say. The director of football was friends with Antonio Conte, and I think that's one of the reasons why Antonio Conte stayed in Spurs for so long. But ultimately, it broke up. I mean, he flared out in a press conference publicly calling out the club, which is not great for anybody, right? At the end of the day, regardless of whether he's right or wrong, he shouldn't be doing that. He shouldn't be doing that.
Antonio Conte managers like Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho are trophy managers. They're not long-term project managers. They are people that are going to come. They're going to give you a shopping list. If you do not provide them what they need, they're not going to be able to cook the right meal. 100%. They're not. What Tottenham need, because the kind of mentality they possess and their owner possesses, they need a project manager, somebody like Pochettino, and potentially get the results. Hopefully they click.
Or maybe a Nagelsmann, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. This managers in the same vein. But Conte and Mourinho was a marriage made in hell anyway from day one. They were never going to work out because Spurs was never going to. Danny Levy was never going to give the funds and the players and the exact tools that was going to be required by a Conte and Mourinho to be successful in the Premier League. They did not get it, and obviously, it ended sourly. But listen, I think we have just clocked in about 1 hour 45 minutes for our video. We got to wrap the show up now. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is being uploaded to YouTube podcast as of today. We hope to upload it there. And I hope you guys have comments for us. We spoke about a variety of different things. And, do like the video, share it with your friends in various WhatsApp groups or messenger groups and things alike. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch you again next week. Bye from Saul, Jishmaester, and the Bong Scouser. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye.